Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Monday night, 8 p.m. The Online Darts Live Lounge, episode 259. Myself, Phil Bars, and Dan Simpson here this evening, taking you through the action. Unfortunately, Jarthian cannot join us tonight. He's off to Turkey to get that Barnet sorted. He's done a Fabian Hertzler. The toupee is gone, and he is gone for surgery. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm knackered. Like it's been. I mean, you know how busy the last few days. Like I've had a genuinely, absolutely superb few days. Like really, really fun. But I have been busy, like with a capital bit, like in over the space of a few days. And I shouldn't moan. I'm spoilt rotten. Like Friday, I was at the live filming of the Gladiators Grand Final. That was very impressive. Enjoyed that. Bit of lots of nostalgia, fun for the kids. Saturday night, that was in Sheffield. Saturday night, I was in Leeds Arena for the boxer show. That was very, very impressive. Williamson and Simpson, two, like, a really solid card of boxing as well. So that was really good. Yesterday was my mum and dad's 40th wedding anniversary. So and we all went out for Sunday lunch. So I have been very, very, very busy. Travelling away for work tomorrow. So today is like my only day of so I mean I worked all day today, but yeah, my only day of not chaos, and we're here tonight to talk about darts. But yeah, all is very good and well up here. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah, it was different kind of weekend. ADC action going on, which we'll talk about in a bit. Obviously, most of the World Series boys jetting out today. Some went over the weekend. We're seeing plenty of Instagram posts as well. And first of all, congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Aspinall. Nathan tied the knot at the weekend. The pictures looked incredible. The castle place they got married looked sensational. So
the
darting celebrity wedding central by the looking at the pictures. It was good.
Yeah, it looked very impressive. I tell you what, I wouldn't looking at the cast of characters that were there, and certainly a few of the videos and photos that I saw. I wouldn't have liked to think I was picking up the bar tab at the end of that night. I wouldn't have liked to think that I was covering the ale bill for that crowd. But it's congratulations, and it's all good fun, isn't it? Everybody loves a wedding. We haven't got one this year. Last year we seemed to be at weddings every other weekend, and this year I don't think we've just got to the age, I think, where all of our friends all of our friends have been married and they're getting divorced. No,
to be fair, it's me doing one this year, because you are doing the watch along on the Friday in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, you've got a wedding to go to. Not on Monday.
I've got a wedding on a Friday, so you're doing the double session watch along.
Yeah. Busy day. I've took a day off work for that, but it's a good use of a day's annual leave.
We've got some exciting content coming this week. I've got a very good interview happening this week.
It's exciting.
Let's jump.
What are you giving them? You're not giving them any more than that.
Oh, should we give them a little bit more?
Give it. I mean, you've got to dangle the carrot, haven't you? Because they might get all their mates to subscribe, but they're gonna send a link to the WhatsApp family group and say, "Quick, mum, get subscribed," because Phil Bars has got a big interview this week.
I'm going to Essex.
There you go. That's a clue, isn't it?
Going to Essex.
That is a clue.
See if the chat room can work out. Let's jump into the chat room. Sam, how we doing? Adele, good evening. Owen is in. Kieran, Gordo, how we doing? Paul is in. K Mark, how we doing, mate? Shelty. Owen says good evening, folks. Quinton in from South Africa. David says, what's up, OD fellas? We are all good, mate. Adam is in. Tuning in from Fred's shop. I like that. Nice. Adam, is your job one of the ones? Is it all Fred's shops that are going? I hope you're okay. James is in. Wayne, how we doing, buddy? Malachi is in. Rob is in. Chizzy skipped the vest. All good. Ollie is in. Kelly, how we doing? Now says evening, lads. Marcus is in.
Again, isn't it, Philip?
It is rammed. Sam, I've spoken to Luke's mum and dad. at the moment, they're holidaying in the States. Look,
Roughing it.
do our best to get Luke back on. However, look, being the best in the world, being the most recognisable 19-year-old probably in the country, has its drawbacks that his time is very, 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 very valuable and very, very precious is the thing. But we were having, my dad and I were having conversations sporadically on WhatsApp last night, already planning show 300.
Well, this is see what we're show 259,
No,
and we did something special for show 100. We did something special for show 200. We've got to do something special. I mean, there are certain ones that I mean, 300 seems like we should mark it. Round figures are always good. 501, that'll be. I'm looking forward to show 501. That's gonna have to be a bit special, isn't it?
100%. Mace is in the chat room. How we doing, buddy? Make sure you go and follow that Darts guy, Mace's channel as well, doing some really, really good stuff. So make sure you give him a follow. And yes, Mace, you are correct. I will be at Maskell's. So should be good. Also, don't worry, Mace will be on show 300. He doesn't know it yet, but he will be on show 300.
Yeah, he doesn't know. We haven't brought him in on the plan, but it's slightly more convenient for him as well. It won't be too far, and it'll be good fun.
Yeah, we're looking at a studio and somewhere up in somewhere a bit further north than me, but south of Dan. That hopefully we're going to get some guests on, Mace on for show 300 and have a really, really good one. How we doing, AD? Hope you are good, my friend. Our guest will be joining us around 8:30. Looking forward to having Huw Ware on the show. Who are you getting to interview? Well, you only go to Maskell's for one reason and one reason only. That's all I'm saying.
This is it, see? There's no other reason to go there,
for one reason.
There's no other reason to go there.
How are we doing, Grace? Something good to have you in. Right, let's jump.
I feel like everyone's on tonight.
It's good.
Do you know what it is? It's because the wheels fell off last week and we went completely rogue, didn't we? We had 2 hours of not talking about darts and getting stuck into people.
To be fair, I absolutely loved it. I love last week's show.
I feel like we need to. We've got a nice soft opening. We'll have a good interview with you, and then after 9 o'clock, we'll get in 2-footed on people again because there's probably a few on the hit list this week. I think.
Yeah. Mace 100. He's had Mace is in. Oh, I switch this on. There we go. So big news dropping last week is the dates are now signed, sealed, and delivered for the World Championships. The waiting is over. We know the dates, and I cannot wait. December the 11th to January the 3rd in the Great Hall at Alexandra Palace. It is out there, Dan. Look, we knew roughly what the dates would be, but now they're confirmed. Is that the excitement starting to build? The match play's done. The dates are now sealed. Ali Pali is starting to glimmer.
Yeah, and there is that excitement of, we're seeing it in the Great Hall this year. We regardless of what you've seen before, we're going to see something a little bit different. We always see, certainly in recent years, the World Championships brings new. Every year, there's always something new at the World Championships. We learn something. It could, sometimes it's the, brand new winner that's come to take over the world of darts. Other times, it's just, people going on a bit of a run, new talent coming through. Sometimes it's women picking up a win on the stage. So, yeah, it's always a bit exciting. That's where the biggest stories of the year happen. So now that it always feels real, we know it's coming, we know it's that time of year, but once those dates are in, people have started to get tickets, people have not got tickets, like that's probably something that we'll end up discussing as well, is unfortunately, for darts is bigger than ever, and it's getting bigger. The bigger darts gets, the more challenging it's going to be to get a ticket. It's like, for an awful long time, it was very easy to get a ticket at Man City. You could turn up and pay on the door. Those days are long gone because everybody wants to be there, and darts is the same. You know, there was a time where people struggled to fill darts venues, where not all sections were open because they couldn't get the tickets through on all sessions. Now you could sell, and we said it about the match play, didn't we? You could sell every ticket 3 times. Maybe not the same for for every session at the Worlds, but the demand is absolutely through the roof, and there are going to be people disappointed. There is no perfect solution. The perfect solution is everybody gets a ticket and it only costs them a tenner. It doesn't exist. There is no way. There are always going to be people. There are always going to be people disappointed. There are always going to be people priced out of it. Unfortunately, there is only so much that can be done. I think the system works as good as it can.
We'll come on to that in a second. Mace is right, by the way. Monday, the 7th of December, the date is set for the annual pilgrimage to the Prince of Wales, the Live Lounge Live, and this one is going to go off the chart. We already have, I think, 3 or 4 guests confirmed for that night already. We are planning well in advance, so it is going to be off the scale at the Prince of Wales. A lot of people seem to be telling me to get the Christmas tree out the loft already.
Hey, so
the people are asking.
They say it, Philip, like you need any encouragement at all, isn't it? Like this is absurd. Like imagine, that is unusual. Yeah, I can't wait for that already. Make sure I'm on the guest list for the Prince of Wales. I don't want to be getting turned away because they're already full and there's no space when I get down there. So you make sure I'm on that list.
And Jar's right here as well. We're going to touch on this. Look, they've gone with the balloting system, and all I saw on social was people moaning about the ballot system and the prices. Look, you can't have it always. People absolutely moan like fuck when they couldn't get a ticket because they couldn't get into the queue. Now they're doing it a fairer way where everyone has the same chance, and they're still moaning. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't here.
This is it. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of objectivity there. And when people don't get a ticket, they tend to just blame the system instead of just accepting that sometimes life's a bit shit and you don't get what you want. But because we've had it with the UK Open, we got the UK Open every year. Me and the lads, we rebook on site, and then it sells out by the Saturday afternoon. And if you're not on there, you don't get a chance to buy a ticket. And people say that's absolutely outrageous. I want to go there, and I've never been before. By the same token, there are people there that say, hang on, I come here every year and I spend thousands of pounds every year, come in, and my loyalty should be rewarded. So no matter what, you're never going to please everybody. There's always going to be some people that don't get tickets. I'm not sure of a fairer way of doing it than ballot, because the only other ways you do that then is you do some sort of point system, whereas and that is proven, and it's been proven in all sorts of different sports, and different ways of selling tickets. It doesn't help you grow. A point system is brilliant if you are Hartlepool United and you're selling out every week and you've only got a 3,000 seater stadium. Point system's great as to who gets a ticket for cup matches and things, because it rewards loyalty. And realistically, how far are you going to grow the fandom of Hartlepool United? Not very far outside of Hartlepool. Whereas darts is growing all around the world, everywhere it can possibly grow. So you have to give people the opportunity to get a ticket. There has to be at least a fair crack or a fair chance. So,
and also this loyalty thing that people are going on about, right? I've bought tickets. Right, if you bought tickets for Manchester Premier League and one night at the Grand Slam in Wolverhampton, shouldn't have any bearing on a ticket for Ali Pali, for Christ's sake. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
Exactly, especially when you've got I always say, don't I, about the lack of let's be honest, if I want to travel under if I'm happy traveling an hour and a half, right, there are 2 times in a year that the PDC is within an hour and a half of me, 2 nights. Premier League in Newcastle, Premier League in Leeds. Now, realistically, the fact that I haven't been to, and I have been, the fact that I haven't been to the match play, or someone where I, hasn't travelled to the match play, hasn't travelled to Wolverhampton, hasn't travelled to Leicester, like, that shouldn't have any bearing on it. Like I say, if you want to grow the sport, you've got to give people who've never been before the chance to go. Like, how many times have we heard of people that have gone to the darts for the first time and it has ignited something in them? Like, that's
100%.
That's where you fall in love with a sport, isn't it? No matter what sport it is, you fall in love with a sport, watching it, feeling the atmosphere, seeing the walk. Like, Saturday night, I took my eldest lad Billy with me. Like, that's who I went to watch the boxing with. So we went to the arena in Leeds, the first direct, and you know what it's like. It's that amphitheatre, gorgeous arena, innit? The atmosphere is
lovely
in there. And he sat there, and he boxes himself, but then to be in that venue and see it, that's when you light up. That's when the kids all of a sudden get this and they understand why people love it so much. So yeah, you've got to find a way to. I get that people want to go every year, but also I think some of it, and there are just dickheads, aren't like, social media's full of dickheads. Most people writing on Facebook are dickheads. Half the time it's, when you dig a bit deeper, it's, I didn't get a ticket. I only put in for the third Saturday, and you think, oh no, you've got to be flexible. You've got to be able to try and work around it. You've got to take what you can get. Sometimes people, you put in for tickets for the Olympics, you see people, don't they? They all go into the ticket ballot for the Olympics. They come out the other end. What have you got? Well, I've got day 3 of the women's judo, and I've got, the mountain biking. Well, I want to go to the Olympics and experience it. So I'll either go or I won't.
There's that very famous Eddie Hearn gif that I still love. I want a 12-inch penis, but it ain't going to happen.
Do you know what I see? Do you know what you haven't seen it yet, but I've put something in the back end today. I don't think I'll get a chance to use it today, but my favourite gif of all time is the outtake from Bottom. That's in the back end now. That's in the back end, and I'm just itching for an opportunity to use it.
Also, Mace, yes, I did share a Chris Rea TikTok today. I'm not even sorry about it.
Yeah, we're past that. I forgot it's August, isn't it? Like you're looking for, ideally for you, the leaves are all off the trees by next Thursday. Like everything's orange, leaves are down. Come on, the last 3 days.
Also, as well, the ticket prices came under scrutiny again, which I don't get. Okay, yes, in the last 3 years, the ticket prices have gone up. But when you compare the prices of the tickets compared to other major sporting events, it is still very reasonably priced what you pay for a ticket compared to if you want to go to the boxing, if you want to go and watch Spurs or Arsenal and so on. It is still very well priced.
Bang. Like I say, I was at the boxing 2 nights ago. Bang average tickets. Oh, I mean, they were decent. Like, they were all right. I wasn't ringside. Like, decent tickets over £100. Like I say, if you're buying 2, like, that's expensive. What I actually thought was quite good about the price, and again, I'm not going to say it's great. It's dead cheap. It's not. What I thought was quite good was there wasn't a huge price hike when you got towards the back end of the tournament. I thought that it was a very sort of graceful ascent from first round, second round games in towards like the latter stages into quarters and semis and even the final. Because realistically, I've been to first round games at Alexandra Palace. You get a seed, you can get some pony on there as well. You're going for the experience, and you buy your tickets knowing that like you don't know. I was dead. The last time I went, I was dead lucky because Callan Ridge was playing. John O'Shea was on that session. Like the last time I was down there was. But again, it's the luck of the draw with that. But then by the time you get to the quarterfinals, like you're seeing some big names there. Like you're going to get to see the big hitters. So I think the price increase was fairly fairly good. I like from between rounds. The thing is, like, everything's expensive, Phil. If I go to Sainsbury's for a basket full of shopping, it costs me 60 quid. Like, that's just the price of existing, unfortunately. And I understand that makes it hard for some people. Like, there are people who are really up against it. But I also think, realistically, the people who are really up against it and really struggling with the cost of living, like, they're not probably losing too much sleep about the price of going to Alexandra Palace.
Yeah.
Like, the people who are really up against it and struggling to put food on the table, like, they're not probably losing much sleep over the price of a semi-final ticket for the darts. I don't think, and I just think it's a different conversation, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. And look, let's be honest, even with the old system, right, all that you know right now is the defending champion will play on night one. And there's a fair guess that Luke Littler will play on the 3rd of January. But other than that, it is a lottery. You don't know where,
Yeah.
even on the old system, you didn't know who you were buying tickets to go and see.
No, be lucky. Honestly,
So
I've had good and bad. You know, when you see that draw and you know when your tickets are. I've looked at it and thought, that's like, that's gone well. I've felt lucky there. And there's other times I've looked at it and thought, I think I'm never going to sell these tickets.
That's just the way it works, though.
But you
Is
can't
the
do
thing
it any other way. There is not. Again, every time I ask somebody moans about it, and I ask them, like, how would you do it then? What's a better way? And immediately they come up with a shite solution that I can pick holes in really quickly.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
To be fair, Paul, I've not looked at the price of the Lakeside ticket, so I can't comment. I'll try and have a look in a minute, but I've not looked at what they are. Also, where is it? Ollie, right. Obviously, as you can see, yes, we've got some t-shirts on. I have been speaking to the company lady that has done them for us. It might be a case of we do a pre-order once a week. Something along those lines may be doable, but we need to confirm something. But at the moment, that is looking like the best we can do at the moment.
The brutal truth, right? And we're trying, like, this is probably, I don't know, this is probably more honest than Phil wants me to be. Genuine, like, everybody knows there's ways of selling merch online, and you can use a print-on-demand company. And like, you can go. The difficulty with that is, genuinely, if you do that, it's really difficult to get a cost of a normal t-shirt under like 20 quid. It's really, and we don't.
You
really
don't know the quality either. You've not used them before. You don't know the quality.
Lottery. You've got some random somewhere printing something on your behalf, sending it over, and really, we don't want people paying over £20 for a t-shirt that could come up with our logo on, but then it's a bit shit. Like, we don't want to have people over for it. We don't want to pull people's pants down. So probably the reason for the delays in us actually being able to get some merch moving is that we don't want anybody ripped off. We want to make sure that it's the right quality at the right price.
Yeah, and we've tested it, and these are good t-shirts.
Yeah, this is genuinely what we have probably got on at the minute is like the trial run that we got some testers made and some, which is why you can sometimes see that there's a bit of a shadow where we've had the logos moved around a little bit, and we've done a bit of editing with these t-shirts, but they're not far off being ready to go. So we're looking forward to making them available to everybody.
Yeah. And don't worry, if you're watching Charlotte, yes, we will get you an extra small Live Lounge t-shirt.
Yeah, there is one going to the Prince of Wales pub in Ilkeston.
Yeah,
just especially, and the Christmas.
100%. But yeah, and obviously Mace says as well that some of the exhibition tickets are dearer than that as well. 100%. It's like this is the way the world works. It's supply and demand. And as Mace said there, the Tuesday at the match play was unreal. When you book tickets, when you got a ticket for that Tuesday, you didn't have a clue, but you ended up hitting the jackpot with an unbelievable session of darts.
Yeah.
So it is just, look, it's potluck. I like the way they've done it. I think it's a much fairer way of doing it. Look, tickets are always going to end up in the hands of touts. That's not just darts, that's football, boxing, UFC, rugby, cricket, whatever it is. You will not stop touts getting their hands on a percentage of tickets. But this is a much, much fairer way of doing it, which I like. And look, over the last year, the PDC have done a really good job of getting tickets back off touts. And then on the morning, they'll say, right, we have got 100 tickets that we've got back off touts to put out. That Jimmy especially, or Mace knows as well, they've worked hard to get this system to try and get tickets back. Is the thing. So kudos to them about working so hard. However, I can see something in the background. So we are going to play this. And on the other side of this little jingle, it's time. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the one and only Mr. Huw Ware. How we doing, my friend?
I'm good, thank you, guys. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Pleasure to have you along.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. It's my first time, so yeah.
Yes, it is. You've not joined us before on a Monday, Hugh, have you? This is the first time you've been on. Hopefully, first of a few.
The first of many. Exactly. Good. Yeah.
Hugh, have you got us opening another tab? Because there's a slight echo coming back. Have you got us opening on a YouTube tab or something?
Possibly. So I'm not very good with technology.
That's all right.
I don't think so. This is literally the only tab I've got open. So, but I can hear it too. Isn't that a bit strange? Okay, what's going on? I don't know.
Just think there's a tab open somewhere.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to close everything, apart from this tab, obviously.
Keep this one.
Right, all my tabs are closed.
I can't hear an echo. I think people are hearing it.
Oh, Hugh's just closed himself on us. That's all right. We'll get it back in.
Tabs are closed.
That's right. As soon as he comes back in, we will get him back in. It's all good. We love a bit of technology. Yeah,
I'm gonna wager that he's not the technological whiz behind the Tops and Tails podcast, is he? He's not plugging in microphones and setting things up.
Right, here he comes, coming back in now, so we can go like that.
So that went well. Does that work?
No, but it's all right. We can soldier on, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, guys. I've got nothing else open at all. I don't know what's going on.
I haven't got. I can't hear it. I don't know what people are on about. Sounds great to me. You're not rigging up the Tops and Tails podcast, then, Hugh. You're not in charge of microphones and sound mixing and everything else on that. Is it just the smiling face at the front, are you?
Well, I see someone here saying it's his speaker. I mean, so how do I get rid of that then?
Ooh, I don't know.
Anybody in the chat knows?
Yeah.
What it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
Going into there for an expert.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's seen especially my earlier series of Tops and Tails, like apart from this series, so when I used to set up the cameras and things, that was all me. I was in charge of setting up the cameras, the angles, etc. We were doing it in darts hotel rooms, which some of them weren't necessarily the most spacious in the world. So this series now, we've got a production company involved, thanks to Windmill. They're called AOTV. They did a great job. And it's just so much more watchable now, I think. Now that we have professional cameras, professional setup and proper angles, it just makes the videos that much more watchable to see and to listen to. So yeah, it's I'm not Steven Spielberg by any stretch of the imagination.
Look, we'll start on the Tops and Tails as you brought it up. How much are you enjoying it, and have you been blown away at the success that you've had in such a short space of time with it?
With the podcast, yeah, I think I'm so happy that everybody seems to be enjoying it as much as what they are. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. And I think probably the best thing that we did was put a series out during last year's World Championships, because that's when darts is part of casual sports fans' algorithms that much more than at any other time of the year. It's almost as if, all the way through my first year, anyone who sort of stumbled across one of the episodes were realizing that I had a podcast. And that was even right up to the World Championships. I mean, there were episodes that went out during season 2, which went out around about this time last year, where even those videos views were just going whoosh like that. And I think it's because people were only just sort of realizing that I had a podcast. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way that it's grown, to the point now where we can have our own production company, and we have a bit of money behind it to be able to provide that, and so on. I've even had guests come on now from outside of the world of darts. We've started branching out slowly, and there are some other guests who have said yes to coming on, both inside the world of darts and outside the world of darts. If they can come off, guys, that would just be incredible. And yeah, I am very lucky because, I mean, so many podcasts, we've only done about 30 episodes, I think, overall. And like how many podcasts like sort of try for years to get to this position now, which this podcast is at. So I'm very, very lucky, and I don't even do it consistently, guys. We all know that the guide to a really successful podcast is consistency. And unfortunately, I just cannot do this podcast every week. If I could, then I would. But if we take, for example, February through till May, there's Premier Leagues, there's Pro Tours, there's European Tours. I mean, I'm barely available, let alone any of the players or anyone like this. It's very, very tough. We get episodes out as soon as we can. And I think to all intents and purposes, if there is another series to follow on from this one this year, we'll probably record between, say, September, October through November odd time, and it'll be ready for the World Championships. So, yeah, but no, I'm very happy. I'm very fortunate. I'm just pleased that everybody's enjoying it as what they are. I've been overwhelmed the last couple of years with all the lovely messages that I've had and support. So,
yeah, no, 100%. I listen to it. I love listening to it. It's great. Have you got an ideal guest? If you could handpick one guest to have on, who would you have?
Oh, well, I'm gonna add to that, because the way to make it more interesting is you have to have two answers. One is somebody from the world of darts, and one is somebody from outside the world of darts, because that's a very different show, isn't it? And a different way of thinking about it.
Do you know, guys, I've been very fortunate to have had a lot of people that I would love to have on already. I mean, so today's episode was Dennis Priestley, my favourite player of all time, I mean, so in that respect, how does it get better than that? Michael van Gerwen would be a huge name that we haven't had yet. I would love for him to come on. I mean, there's, I wouldn't say no to the vast majority of people, in the world of darts or outside. I mean, outside the world of darts, Sir Alex Ferguson, is that too ambitious to ask? Alex, if you're watching, come on. I would love to have you on, because I think everybody knows that Freddie Mercury is my hero. But if I was to pick someone who was living in my lifetime, it would be Sir Alex Ferguson, because I grew up as a big Manchester United fan. I grew up, so I started sports in 2001, so I saw the last 10, 11, 12 years of his time. Just amazing. Responsible for some of the most consistently happiest memories of my childhood, for sure. So if that's not too ambitious, I suppose for Alex Ferguson, really.
Absolutely not.
I love that. That'd be great. Could you imagine Sir Alex on tops and tails?
The thing is, he's growing big enough he can pull that off. That's what worries me. Is that that's achievable. You'll get 50% of them by the end of the year.
There'd just be this hairdryer halfway through the episode, like whoosh,
Yeah, would it be tempting, Huw? You'd have to get him to call a 180, wouldn't you? Just to see how Sir Alex would deliver that.
Well, and I'll try the hairdryer the other way round. Dear me. He was remarkable, wasn't he? And he is. Some of the stories that I've heard about him, about his management and things. I mean, obviously Pep Guardiola was fantastic and dominant in Manchester City. We can't take that away from him in that respect. But I don't think there will ever be another manager to do it in the way that Sir Alex did. He was remarkable.
No, I agreed. Look, darts has become so cool and so trendy, and you referees are part of this now as well, where all of you are now recognisable names. Everyone knows who the referees are. How difficult is the job becoming? Not in terms of the players playing up, but just the changing dynamics of being a darts referee, because it's more now than just getting up on the stage and calling numbers, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I mean, yeah, it's becoming sort of more. Well, that's why so over the last few years, the role of the second referee has increased. So we're looking out for any infringements on the hockey that the first referee may not be able to see, any scoring errors, anything sort of external, really. And yeah, while calling the scores is the bread and butter, it is issues between the players, issues in the crowd. I've been on stage when the lights have gone out before now, and thankfully they came back on very quickly, so that was fine. But that's happened before. I've had to wipe water off of the European Tour drinks table with some kitchen roll in front of about 5,000 people because the bass from the second player's walk-on has vibrated through the table so much it's just poured the water everywhere out of the jugs and onto the table. I mean, it's remarkable. So yeah, it has become more than that, and yeah, it's a challenge, but like I love it. It's the best job in the world. I wouldn't swap it for anything.
When you say it's the best job in the world, Huw, and I would like sort of going back because it's like we've not been on you've not been on before, so it's interesting. We have to dig into the origin story. But like, at what point did it become for you a realistic option where you thought, this thing that I do, this thing I do sort of as either as a hobby or as a side, this is what I do as part of my involvement in darts. There is not just a job, because it's not just something I can earn money from, but a career, something that I can do and it can become what I am professionally. Like, when did you realise that? At what point in your career?
Well, it's interesting, really, because so I was 17 years old when I went on television for the first time. So I've told the story many times. I went sort of from there at a county level. I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years to right up there with like very little messing about at all. Because back in those days, that really was the only route that there was. There wasn't such. There are far more opportunities now as a referee than what there were back when I started. And even with that said, it was another 10 years before I started making refereeing my professional living. So I was in the BDO for 5 years, and that was essentially voluntary. Because we didn't have the money, I suppose, to give us like a professional wage or something. We had some sponsorship money for Lakeside. We always had our expenses covered wherever it was that we went, but that was it. And then in 2016, I graduated from university. Was looking around for work. I started working for Radio Wales Sport, and I also joined the PDC as the 5th member of a team of 4 at that time. And then COVID came along a few years later, and it was at the back end of COVID, around about September 2021, when I took the step up from being like the 5th member of a team of 4 to the 4th member. And then year after year, my work has then increased from then. So even though I've had a 15-year career now, it's only been the last 5 where I could call it my professional living. I mean, like I say, I was only 17. I had no real sort of, I loved refereeing and I knew that I could do it and so on. But I didn't necessarily have my eyes set on it at that time in my life, at that early stage. I think I think it's interesting now. Sorry, very quickly. I think it's interesting now with the Littler effect and the explosion of youth darts, especially. We are now starting to get to the stage where young kids are coming through, where they are looking actively to become professional dart referees, and that's going to be very interesting going forward. So there we are.
No, it is. That's fascinating. It's something that's the first time I've ever heard anybody say it, but it makes complete sense that if all of a sudden you've got loads of children in darts academies and loads of people, there is of course going to be people who develop a particular talent and are good at it and enjoy it. And yeah, I suppose that the youth, that next movement of darts referees is going to be coming through in the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, isn't it?
and right across the world as well. I think in Australia, in New Zealand, in Asia, in America, in Europe, and so on, we were seeing that in Europe already. And I think what the end result of that will be that there will be a plethora of world-class referees who are going to get on that stage in their 20s or maybe even earlier, and their maths is going to be spot on. They're just going to know what they're doing like that. And so the standard of refereeing will just go up and up and up.
Yeah, no, I like that. Mace said when you and Charlie went out for some food at the Euro Tour, didn't get a look in. Mace said.
Oh God, which Euro Tour was that? We always go out for food at some point or other. We always go out for some nice food wherever we can. Take advantage of the places that we go to, because it's not easy sometimes to take a look around.
I can imagine as well, but it's not just the darts work that you do within darts and that thing, but we've got obviously the Rainbow Laces campaign with the LGBT community stuff that I know you're super proud of, and darts getting involved. Was that not a concern, I want to say, when you first came into the darts world? Was there ever any worry? Because darts wasn't the best sport, shall we say, in terms of where it came from and educating players and people. Was that ever a concern when you were getting into it at a young age?
Yes, or when at an early age before I came out. Yeah, I mean, it just so I've been involved in television darts for about 3 years. When I came out, I was 20, and I just done the second half of the world final that Stephen Bunting won.
Yeah,
and I just remember for the last couple of years before I came out. So I went to university, and it had gone to the stage where I didn't even have to come out in university, and I was going out. I was just starting going out on the scene. I was learning more about myself, coming to terms with myself, and becoming more experienced in that way, and all the rest of it. So that had been going on for a couple of years. So the more I was doing that, the more frustrated, I suppose, that I was getting when it came to a darts weekend, and I had to go sort of back into the closet, as it were. And I was sort of watching myself, checking myself all the time, and all this sort of thing. And I just sort of realized one day that I was ready to do it. I mean, I was petrified, don't get me wrong. But the amount of support that I had from the darting world at that time was incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better response if I tried. Then a couple of years later, things started getting a bit difficult. And so in the end, we combined with the Rainbow Laces campaign. And for quite a few years after that, the darts world became a lot better and a better place to be for me and for other people like myself. It was. I've lost my train of thought now. What was I going to say then? Yeah, no, it was really good for that period of time. But that's how I remember now. But that's because of everybody else. I don't think it's because of anything that I have sort of said or preached backstage to people or things like this. The way we make the world a more inclusive place is to take responsibility for ourselves and to make sure that we are all, as individuals, as inclusive and as welcoming and as can be. That's not because of me. That's because of the kind-hearted natures of everybody else. They're the ones that deserve credit for making darts inclusive and so on. It's all of our individual responsibilities, which means as a collective, it makes the place a better place to be.
How
100%.
Sort of looking forward a bit, like, because I noticed and that you'd been named as an ambassador, but how excited are you for the Euro Games to be in Cardiff, in the UK? Dart for the first time in the UK, darts is being featured. So like how the fact that it's in your home country and darts is being featured, how excited are you for that next year?
Oh, I'm so excited! Yeah, I remember I had a call about just over a year ago now to sort of talk about this, and amazing. I mean, darts has been part of one of the games before, but I think it wasn't particularly sort of well backed. There were only about 10 or 12 entrants. It might have been a bit of a last minute thing, I'm not sure. This is like the first real sort of concerted effort that darts has had to be a part of the Euro Games. There's just under a year still to go, and there's already been 1,000 entries into the games in general. I think we're expecting about 3,000 or 4,000 people across 40 or 50 different sports. to be a part of. I mean, I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to make this the biggest sporting event to come to Cardiff since the Commonwealth Games of '58. It's never been to the UK before, as you say, so for it to come to Cardiff is fantastic. It's going to be huge, and to be asked as an ambassador. I mean, that question got asked to me quite a few months after our initial conversation, and I couldn't be more honoured. I just couldn't be more honoured. It's a wonderful thing to have.
I think it looks very cool. I was really pleased to see darts being featured, and it'll be interesting to see how that is covered and who's involved and what the standard is, and let's hope it's of a good standard. There are certainly, I think, talented players that will be involved, so I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, big time. And I think the most important thing is, I'm sure the standard will be great, but it's to have fun and to show that sport is for everyone and that darts is for everyone. I think so. It's going to be held at Rodney Parade in Newport. Family Darts, Neil Patterson, we're working very closely with him to arrange the venue and the facilities and so on. They also just helped me with my Macmillan Cancer Darts Marathon just on the weekend. He's a wonderful man, and it's going to be a big success. Not just darts, but the Euro Games in general as well. I think it's going to be a huge event. And we're all working very hard. The next 12 months are going to go like that. It feels like we've still got all the time in the world, but we really don't. We're going to blink, and it's going to be July 2027. And I think there's going to be an opening ceremony, a closing ceremony, medals, other extra stuff going on the social side of things that the Pride Company Board are arranging. So it's going to be amazing.
Well, you kind of mentioned it's on my list to speak to you anyway, but the Macmillan Cancer fundraising day at the weekend looked incredible. And you're you can still play. I know that you had a bit of a youth career that you don't like to talk about, but there's still a little bit of magic in that throwing arm of yours, Huw, with 180s going in and so on. But obviously that's the fun part of it, but also raising money for a wonderful cause at the same time must be a great pleasure as well.
Yeah, so do you know, I hit 6 180s in total over those 12 hours. Last year I only hit 3, so I've doubled my tally. But there's something else that I did, which I've not seen the clip. No one's clipped it up. I can't find it anywhere. I wouldn't even know where to look now. But like 10 hours in, we were doing a checkout games, and we needed 120, and I threw the first down. I blocked the single 20, so I just went, excuse my language, I went, 2 bulls, sod it. I went bullseye.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's the best thing I did in those 12 hours. It wasn't the 180s, it was doing that. That was unbelievable. I couldn't believe I did that. And the first I went right at the top of the bullseye. There was loads of room. I couldn't have thrown it any better. So how I did that, I was on fire. So for 2027, I better watch out, is all I'm saying. And then I'm going to be the first referee to win the World Darts Championship. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
I'd love that. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm an ambassador for the Macmillan Cancer Darts Marathons, and last year those marathons raised a combined total of roughly around £1.5 million for Macmillan Cancer. That's just purely through their darts marathons. It's absolutely extraordinary. They're so popular, and honestly, when you complete one, it's the best feeling, because on Saturday it wasn't so much my right arm or anything; it was my legs. My right foot was actually aching a lot, and I wonder if I was putting too much weight forward. As any darts coach would tell you, to be comfortable, maybe I was putting too much weight forward. But it's the most wonderful feeling when you finish it. And I don't know what final total we managed to raise yet for my challenge, but it was over £1,300. I know that. So thank you very much to everybody who watched, who donated, who took part. I couldn't be more grateful. But yeah, it's for a wonderful cause. I'm very honoured to be their darts marathon ambassador. We actually did a photo shoot on the day as well, which I think is going to be used for the 2027 marathons that they're going to be doing. So yeah, it's a wonderful cause, and all to help over 3.5 million people who are living with cancer in the UK. And of course, it's not just those that are fighting cancer. It's all the affected friends and family that they have. I lost my grandfather to cancer, the best man that I will ever know in my life, and I lost him when I was 19 years of age. It affects all of us, doesn't it, in one way, shape or form. So
100%.
these dart marathons are absolutely fantastic for raising money for Macmillan, who are a wonderful organisation.
So you said that your right foot was in pain. Was there no pop world afterwards then?
Well, do you know, I was thinking it during those 12 hours. I was like, I'm going to go out tonight. Shall I go out tonight? Yeah, I'll go out tonight. Then I came back home, and did I go out? No, I didn't. I was absolutely knackered. By the time I got back, it was like 11 p.m. and I was starving hungry as well. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I haven't got the energy. I'm getting old. 10 years ago, that would not have been the case. And now I'm like, oh no, stay indoors in the warm.
I end up saying that to Phil a lot. I said that virtually every night of the match play in Blackpool. Virtually every day I turned to Phil and said, 10 years ago, I'd have been... And then after 6 days, I still hadn't gone for a single pint. And I thought, I'll just go to bed now.
Do you know, I was exactly the same. I really was. I went out on the Friday night, and that was lovely. But apart from that, didn't go out, didn't have a drink, like nothing. I just can't be asked anymore. Isn't that dreadful?
We do sound you to be. We get lots of people. We're dead lucky. We talk to loads of interesting people from the world of darts. I don't think we've spoke to anybody who sounds as busy as you. We know what the darts schedule is. We know what the PDC calendar looks like, and the way that you have to get from there to there to there, but then the things that you seem to pack around it, whether it's a podcast or an ambassadorial role or running this or raising money, you do seem to be about the busiest person in darts. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, because I do a lot of sort of extra stuff away from the refereeing, I suppose. I mean, there's not really a day where I have a day off. I mean, at worst, I could do a blog for my website, for example, which I haven't touched nearly all year. It's been dreadful the way I've just neglected my website this year. But I've just been so busy with everything else. I mean, I'm very busy at the moment with a lot of LGBT stuff at the moment to do with lots of different things. Because we're gearing up now to the Rainbow Laces campaign, which traditionally takes place at the Grand Slam of Darts in November. So we're doing a lot of work now to get ready for that. I really need to get onto that. All the social media posts for the podcast and things, all the shorts, all the reels, that's all me. And so on, writing all the descriptions and things is all me. So having done the Macmillan Council Challenge now, that's a little bit of a weight off the shoulders. That can sort of go on the back burner a little bit now. But there's lots of other things as well going on. I mean, I've got a really big second half of the year coming up, guys. Things which I wish I could talk to you about, but I can't. Maybe I could come back again in a few weeks' time and talk about them, which would be amazing. I just can't talk about them right now, but I'm very, very excited, hugely excited by what's coming up in the second half of this year.
Well, you are always welcome to come on.
Making some announcements, you let us know, and you'll get back on and we'll chat about them then.
I was going to say, I won't name the city, but the only time I've seen Huw hungover at work was hilarious. Because, bear in mind, there was only an evening session this tournament. I was like, "You all right, Huw?" He was like, "Oh, I overdid it last night." It was like, I've never seen it. The only time I've ever seen you absolutely hanging was that day, and it was just so funny. Can you remember the city?
No, because there's been a few. Is this literally the only time you've seen me?
It's the only time I've seen you like that.
I got away with that, I must say. You weren't in Budapest, were you, last year?
No.
I tell you what, I was that last day I was shocking.
Budapest it's a very good city if you fancy a beer. If you fancy a drink, Budapest is about as good as you could ask for.
Yeah, I love Budapest. We're literally going there again in a couple of weeks. It'll be fabulous. Oh no, I'm not sure, Phil. Go on.
Dortmund.
Did I?
Yeah.
Was this last year?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I tell you, now he's retired, we can say this. I've got no idea how George did it, because I have seen George absolutely paralytic to the point where he's asleep on his feet with 2 drinks in his hand, and the next morning he'd do the first game at 12 o'clock, and you wouldn't even know. I've got no idea how George was the master at it.
Well, he was so good, wasn't he? I mean, I've said it before. He was a quite big inspiration to me, really, growing up, in terms of especially when I got onto television, I was like, right, how do I referee a game of darts? That's how you referee a game of darts. You know, the voice, the control, the authority, just everything about him as a referee. You know, I really sort of try and take a leaf out of his book as much as possible. He was just the most wonderful referee, you know. And he, even like when he retired, you know, his last game, the World Final back in January, you're still watching it go, you are just as good now as what you were 15, 20 years ago or something, you know. You could still be doing it today, and he would still just be right to the top of his game. You know, he could keep going forever and ever, and you know, yeah, he was fantastic.
Mace has just said he's in Budapest this year as well.
Oh, I'll send you some bar. I'll send you a list of bars.
Oh, brilliant!
I'm good on Budapest.
Yeah, brilliant, great stuff, great.
I love it. I love it. Look, just in terms of the whole Littler effect, what was for you especially? What was it like during that World Final? Because obviously we see other greats in sport, and we see others get to referee generational greats. What's it like for you being able to referee what could be one of the best we've ever seen?
Well, I think that's the ultimate pleasure of being a darts referee, is that you get to be up close to the best players that have ever played the game, you know, and to sort of just be a part of their journey, and to be the voice of their journey in some ways. So winning his first world title, I mean, I can't. So I do bullseye math sessions sometimes. I've been into primary schools with the bullseye math sessions that they put on, which are wonderful, that Gary Horsley puts on. And I can't believe, guys, the 360-degree turn there has been in schools up and down the country and up across the world, where darts is now fashionable. I mean, when I was a kid growing up loving darts, it wasn't that anybody else sort of like looked down on it or anything like that, but it was just that nobody else sort of understood why I loved darts so much. They just didn't get it. Whereas now, I think the kids do get it, to the stage where everybody does love it, and it is actively encouraged to like darts and love darts and to watch darts and so on. I cannot believe how that change has happened. I never thought that would. All down to Luke Littler. I mean, dare I say, guys? I mean, so when I signed my contract with Winmore for the global ambassadorship to do my own podcast and my own website and so on, if Luke Littler hadn't come along, would I have gotten that deal as well? You know, because all of a sudden there was a brand new young audience there to exploit. Not exploit. I hate using that word. It sounds like an awful term.
I know what you mean.
There's an audience there, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Which wasn't necessarily there before, and they are there in their droves. So, I mean, even me on a personal level is riding on that Luke Littler crest of a wave. Do you know what I mean? It's just been remarkable and astonishing. And even after that World Final that I refereed, the first one that he won, that changed my life. And what was interesting was because, I was in the press a lot for being the first gay referee to referee World Final and all that. But the way I was being described in headlines was Luke Littler dart ref. It wasn't my name, it was Luke Littler, which is fine because it's indicative of how big of a name Luke Littler is now. People see Luke Littler in the headlines, they're drawn to it, even if the article isn't necessarily about him. You know, his impact is extraordinary. He is just, well, we all saw him at the match play. I think it's fair to say, you know, he was just on another level, wasn't he? You know, and to be up close to those darts and to be able to referee these achievements of his is just the ultimate pleasure of doing the job. It's why we do it.
It's iconic as well, isn't it? Because of course what those moments generate is clips forever. You know, there are and you look back over the history of darts, there are I don't know, maybe somewhere between 10 and 20, you know, clips that we see all the time. And it must give you a warm feeling when you see one of those come around and it's you. Because, you know, whilst it's somebody else throwing the dart, but it is completely unforgettable, your part in that, isn't it? Because it's your voice and you are very much a part of the history of the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, so when a 9-dart finish goes in, for instance, I mean, you have to really be concentrating in that moment, because it's kind of your whole part of your job in this moment to sell what's just happened. So if we take Josh Rock's 9 darter in Belfast, for example, which he does on his homecoming, so he goes running off to the side of the stage, and in the end, he was obviously so hyped up and so bouncing, and all the crowd were up. It actually took quite a while for the next leg to start. So I was really concentrating in that moment just to make sure both players were okay, the crowd were coming down. Let's just have a moment to settle down before we start again, and all the rest of it. And that's all sort of I'm concentrating on that in that moment. I'm not thinking to myself, "Oh my God, there's been a 9 darter!" And everybody's screaming and shouting. I mean, maybe afterwards you might sort of come to terms with that, but in the moment you're concentrating a lot, because you're trying to sell what's just happened. You're trying to make sure everything's okay, and everything's going on. So you're actually really concentrating. But of course, when those moments do come back round, they get seen on social media and whatever. Yeah, it's just an absolute pleasure. Bless you. It's an absolute. There's real pro muting before we sneeze. That's a real pro. Yeah, it was. It is. Yeah, it's just a pleasure to sort of be the voice of these moments. It's why we do the job. It's why we love the job. Why we keep coming back for more, I suppose, is because you love to be a part of moments like that.
Yeah. Something that I don't know if you've deliberately done it, but I remember like this year, you're the one that's taken the stand against the whistlers, and the love on social media that you've got from it as well. Was that a subconscious thing that you've done, or was it just something that, like, inside of you went, for want of a better word, fuck this, I've had enough of this, I'm not having it anymore?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, so that clip in Gottingen, which I know went viral and all over the place.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't do that to go viral. That was the last thing I wanted to do. I couldn't believe, actually, how much that got shared. That I think it ended up on Sky Sports News and things like this. I mean, oh God, I just couldn't believe that went viral. That was the last thing that I wanted to happen. Honestly, I was calling the moment as I saw it, because I think if the control of a match is with anybody, it shouldn't be with the crowd, and it shouldn't be with the players either. It should be with the referee if it resides with somebody. And that situation there with Stephen Bunting was the last leg. He started getting whistled. He was visibly disturbed by it. And if I remember rightly, initially I let it go, just kind of hoping that it would happen the once and then that would be it.
Yeah.
But the situation sort of, I mean, maybe I should have stamped on it there and then, straight away, maybe. But as the situation kind of got worse and worse and worse, the stronger I had to be in order to wrest back that control. And that's why I was as strong as what I was in that moment. So it's very difficult, because the last thing you want to do is make it worse. And I think you have to sort of try and gauge the feeling, the general feeling in the crowd, as to whether you're about to make the situation worse or not. I mean, luckily, in that moment, after I said what I said, 3,996 people applauded. They all agreed with me. It was a wonderful crowd in Gottingen. Maybe people think I hate the crowds. I don't. I love them, because the vast majority of them are absolutely brilliant. They're there for the darts. They don't agree with it anywhere near as much as what I do. We're only talking about 1 or 2 people at a time. Even in front of crowds of 10,000, 12,000 this year in the Premier League, we've been talking about 1 or 2. And it's 1 or 2 too many. Absolutely. I mean, if they were all whistling, it'd probably be less of a distraction, because it would just be a wall of noise then. But yeah, it's something that's become very, very difficult to control. How we get rid of it, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know whether it's possible, because probably the most frustrating aspect of it is that every bit of action that we take is going to be retrospective. We have to wait for somebody to whistle in order to stop it, But of course, in that moment, the moment's gone. The player might have been put off. They cannot have that dart back. They cannot have that moment back. We could stop the game. We could throw them out. We could put them on a blacklist to make sure they never come back to a dart event again, or whatever you like. The moment has gone. And if you want to try and find somebody whistling, you need them to whistle. So both security, referees, everybody are in a very sort of difficult place with it. I suppose the only way you could really stop it is if you could preempt it. Well, you can't preempt it, guys. You can't preempt it in front of a big crowd. And quite often, especially in these big Premier Leagues, the whistler will be right up there in the tiers. It'll be like a needle in a haystack. By the time you get somebody up those steps and all the rest of it, you know, and you can try and find them. Well, you know, it's nearly impossible.
No, 100%. We've got some questions from the chat room for you as well. First one is: have you got, or can you remember your favourite match you've refereed?
Do you know, it's very difficult to gauge which is your favourite match. Is it the occasion, so like the World Final? Is it a match which has had a 9-dart finish in it, because that moment's kind of been immortalised as well? Is it just a match with the most fantastic standard? Is it a particularly fast match for that kind of challenge? It's very difficult to gauge. I have different games for different reasons, you know. So the Luke Littler World Final changed my life completely on a personal level. So do I say that one? Do I say when Luke had a 9-dart finish in Cardiff, which is my home venue? You know, all this sort of thing. I think Luke Littler against Michael Van Gerwen in Prague, and I think the whole match is on YouTube, where Luke averaged, I can't remember the average, about 114, and Michael averaged 113 or something like that. Just the most incredible standard. There were 10 180s in 7 legs. I have many 180s there were. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. You can find it, because the whole match was uploaded there. Just the best standard you could ever wish to see. I mean, recency bias. Littler versus Aspinall at Blackpool just gone was one of the best matches I'll ever referee. That I've been going to the match for 18 years, and that's the loudest I've ever heard the venue. Not when Luke hit the 9-darter, when Nathan hit the 170 to save the match. That's the loudest I've ever heard the Winter Gardens in my 18 years of going. We started the next leg, and the stage, you could feel banging underneath your feet. It was that loud in there. I've never heard it that loud before. So that's got to be one of. I don't know whether it's the best, but certainly one of.
Do you know, when that happened, Huw, me and Phil were both in the media room, like behind the stage, and you know who's in there. Like they've all seen everything in dart. You know that like nothing surprises them, nothing takes it like. But at that moment, that was one of the very few moments I think where that collection of people almost all uniformly sort of sat up and like genuinely felt, you know, it wasn't like seeing a 9-darter. It was, you know, that it was that moment that everyone in that room just sort of went, my word, this is something truly remarkable. It was very special, that.
Yeah. Have you got a favourite tournament as well? Like the players obviously love the match play and so on. Have you got a favourite tournament?
Yeah, I think the match play, because I used to go there as a kid. I had a season ticket there for 4 years, and me and my family made friends with like a lot of people who were going to the match play for years before us, and they are still going to this day. So there's people there who knew me when I was like 13, 14, who are still going now, and they see me up on the stage. I actually went and had lunch with a few of them on the Friday afternoon in Blackpool, and we had a nice catch up. So I think for that reason, Blackpool, and a similar reason, Cardiff Premier League.
Yeah, of course. Have you got a favourite Euro Tour city or venue?
Well, funny enough, Budapest is probably right up there.
Nice.
Munich is mad. Munich is absolutely crazy. They are so enthusiastic. It's extraordinary, and it's always on the Easter bank holiday as well. So it's a great atmosphere. That's mental. Yeah, I'll go with those two. Yeah. Budapest is just the most wonderful venue. It's just fantastic in there.
It's a very pretty city, isn't it? It's a lovely place.
We've got one from Gordo. What would
That's a
your
good
walk-on song be?
My walk-on song would be "It's Raining Men," the Weather Girls version.
There you go.
I love that. Love that.
and let's be honest, it would be
Not for any particular reason.
No, but it would be truly remarkable, I think, Huw, to see the you know, where would it work best? The Winter Gardens, I think, in Blackpool. I think that would be to see however many thousand people pack into there, giving it some to that song, I think would be quite a sight, wouldn't it?
I would like to see that too. Yeah, I just think, oh dear me, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, there's a campaign somewhere, Huw. I think maybe that you know how. So we talk a lot about walk-ons because we're very, very boring men, and we've done lots of discussions about walk-ons, and one of the things that we've talked about is often when, like Blackpool, for example, what happens is the walk-ons are very similar all week. And if you see somebody get to the final, you've seen that, you've seen the same thing 3, 4, 5 times through the week. And I've always thought, when you get to the final, we want something make it feel like a final, like make me sit up and know this is the main event now. This is the important thing. Would you be against for finals a walk on 4 referees? Would you buy into that? Do you think when it's a final we need everybody to sit up and pay attention? Let's bring everybody out. Let's have the markers out. Let's have the referees. Let's make everyone feel like this is important.
Well, like the chase. It's time to meet the chaser and music, and they come around the corner.
Oh, that would be incredible! Yes, you could all line up, and you could have a little light that went between you all.
Could it be Kirk Bevins, the Kirkulator? Could it be?
Oh yes,
yes, all that. Yeah.
Yes. This is good stuff. This is what we like on this show.
I don't think we're that important somehow. We might be important to the running of the match, but I don't think we're that important somehow. Yeah, imagine that.
We've got best referee in attire: polo shirts as you are now, full suit, or lederhosen.
And I love wearing the lederhosen. Do you know, I tell you a little story about the first time I wore that. They asked me what size shoe I was, and I said 10. But I completely forgot that European sizes are 2 sizes smaller than the UK.
Oh, squeaky.
So I spent all weekend in shoes 2 sizes too small for me. Well, it was agony, guys. And I tell you what, I was luckily, as you're refereeing, you're just standing there, aren't you? But the moment I had to walk, physically put one foot in front of the other, I was sort of limping off the stage. And where we had chairs, like sort of next to the side of the stage, and I was just taking them off, and I was walking around the venue with my sockies. So the next time I went, I learned my lesson on that one. I joined the year they got rid of suits, and I understand it. I mean, if we went back to suits, and I'd be wearing a waistcoat. I quite like waistcoats. I think that would be really nice. But I can understand why they got rid of them, because I wouldn't like a sort of, hauling my suit around on planes and on trains everywhere and so on. Yeah. They have prioritised comfort up there now. We're up there that often. And I can completely understand that. I prefer what we wear now as opposed to suits, if I'm honest.
No, I agree. I think it looks good now, I have to say. Huw, thank you so much for joining us. It's been 45 minutes that I have enjoyed every single second of it, my friend. And you are welcome back anytime you want to announce something. Anytime you've got some juicy things that you've got coming up, then you are more than welcome to come on, my friend. I have absolutely loved it. It's been superb.
Well, thank you very much for having me, guys. I've really enjoyed it. And I'm sorry for the echo. I'm sorry for any sort of technical.
I'll edit it out post show. It's fine.
We've got some very good tools. It'll be when it goes out as an audio podcast tomorrow. It'll be as clean as a whistle.
There'll be no echo at all.
Thank you very much, guys. No, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I've loved it. Everyone, Mr. Huw Ware, thank you so much, Huw.
Come back again.
Cheers, guys.
I'll tell you what, as far as guests go, that is right up there.
What a guy. Yeah, what a
guy. I love that.
Yeah, and you know what? If you are lucky enough to meet him in person, he is exactly the same, when you meet him face to face as he is there, like one of the nicest people in and around darts anywhere else out, that you could wish to meet. And yeah, genuinely a very, very busy chap, but busies himself with some, productive and very useful things. Yeah, just a general good egg. He's incredibly good at what he does, but he loves it as well, doesn't he? Like he
100%. And everyone in the chat room, thanks for sticking with us as well. One, obviously, the echo, we can't do anything about it, but I will edit that post-production, fingers crossed. And again, I'm not sure what's happening in the chat room tonight. Dan, I think you've sorted it out whilst you've been figuring.
I mean, I've used some bloody big words, on WhatsApp chat there, Philip, but I have managed to. I think I've managed to solve the chatbot problem. So if you're out there and you've got a chatbot problem, I'm available on a consultancy basis. I can solve your chatbot problem too. I think it's good, isn't it? Got rid of that.
Love that. No, great guest, Huw.
Really good.
Welcome back on any time whatsoever. ADC weekend, the final tour event in the south. And again, I thought coverage was very good. Did I watch all of it? No, but I felt up to date again. And this is something that we've been saying so much that I thought the social media coverage was superb. That even if you weren't watching, you knew what was going on both the men's and the women's side with the ADC and the WADC. I thought that was absolute superb to keep people up to date. I thought the streaming was really good. There was some good darts thrown as well at Bradmore Farm.
Oh yeah, do you know what that's the headline? I think is like it looks to be an event that ran, from what I can understand, ran very smoothly. If you were sat at home and you wanted to keep up to date with it, then you were kept up to date. Everything was running really well, but a very, very good standard of darts. And again, it just yet more examples of how much talent there is out there without a tour card, and the amount of potential in the sport is massive. But yeah, we saw really, really good numbers from younger players, really good numbers from a lot of the female players. We saw some great matches. Absolutely top draw.
I say this in very big brackets. The amateur game has never been so strong, to the point where I don't even think it's an amateur game anymore. It is literally the PDC, and then you are pretty much pro, semi-pro under that. It's not amateur anymore. The standard has come on that much.
Yeah, that semi-pro is it's a broad stroke, isn't it? It is quite where do you draw the line with that? But what you have to look at is the gap between the consistent averages of the non-tour card holding tour professionals and a lot of the averages, the mean average of some of those players is not too far apart. It's certainly not as far apart as we've seen in years gone by, and it is narrowing the gap. We've said it before, it's the bottom end of the Pro Tour and the upper end of the non-tour card holding players, those players that, their mean averages and the performances that they're posting, it's indistinguishable. They are as good as 128 through to 94.
Yeah, Mace, we'll talk on that in a second because there's been some more developments today on the. It's.
You can update me then. I've been at work today. I'm miles behind on it. I mean, I think I wouldn't even like to admit how many unread WhatsApp messages I've got on my phone. It would be mortifying. I think genuinely people think I'm just rude, but I promise I'm busy.
Yeah, but on the men's side of it, on the Saturday titles for Darren Brown and Ashley Coleman, and Gemma Hayter took both in the WADC. And then on the Sunday, in the men's side of it, it was, again, Jack Drayton, a name that everyone is certainly familiar with now, and Roger Cook. And then it was Aditya Hedman taking both titles on the Sunday in the women's side of it. Again, just very, very good all round from all involved, from the organisers, the players on both the men and the women's side. And at Bradmore Farm is an absolute unbelievable venue for darts. And again, that's just going to continue to thrive. I really like the streaming side of it. But also, while we're talking about the ADC and the proposed merger with the UKDA, Gwynedd pulled out today, joining Cleveland to throw, I think it's Division 3 into absolute chaos, where right now, I don't see how the county season can start on its proposed date because it's just in turmoil at the moment. Yeah, look, that Division 3, you can't go with it as it is. So teams have got to be moved around. which again is a pain in the arse because teams will have booked hotels and accommodation,
Coaches,
which I
travel,
completely
everything else.
understand. But I'm also told that I won't name the team, but there is another team in that Division 3 that have said if this isn't sorted out and things aren't moved around, we will pull out as well.
At that point, you
Correct. At that point, something has to happen.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm not blaming anyone. Look, teams pulling out happens. But at this point, the powers that be need to get everyone around the table and work out how they redistribute the teams.
Yeah, but it's going to take some real clever thought and some hearts and minds. And sometimes things can, sometimes once the wheels are off and things are heading in a direction, it's very difficult to arrest it and to pull it back. I don't see. It pains me to say. I'm not sure I can see a sensible route back for county darts. It just looks like it's on a trajectory that I like to think I'm reasonably intelligent. I can't come up with a sensible way to, that it could get out of it. I don't know.
No, I agree, mate. I think county. I still genuinely believe there is a place for county in the system, just not in its current form. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work playing over 2 days, an A and a B team. Right, the players aren't around. Darts has become more individual than it's ever been. So, for me, I would like to see it go to one team. Forget this A and a B thing. It's one team played on one day, which then eliminates extra time off, extra hotel costs, and so on, which gives you more of a chance of putting a team out, I think, and almost like the Football League pyramid, which seems to work. And Gob and I had this conversation, and for once we actually agreed on something. Doesn't happen very often. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat room.
Yeah, I mean I'll have to add this date to my diary, I think.
But I think I'd like to see, obviously, Prem and Division 1 kept as open, right? As in, there's no travel restrictions. Your top two divisions are open, and you could be going 6 or 7 hours. Then you have North and South. So you have North Division 1 and 2, South Division 1 and 2. So then you have promotion and relegation between the North and the South divisions.
Yes.
And then also top, a bit like in the conference, and the Conference North and the Conference South, the top two from North 1 and South 1 go up.
Well,
so there is still some kind of promotion system, so you can still go up and so on. But I just think that one team, one day gives you a fighting chance.
Well, in virtually all sports that people compete, in some sort of regional way, whether it's a team, or the lower you go down the pyramid and the further you are away from the elite, the more geographically local you compete. Like that, which is why we don't have pub teams playing in national pub leagues. They're not.
Correct.
Then, we haven't got Sunday League pub sides getting a coach to Edinburgh to play a pub team from Edinburgh. The further and further you go down the talent pyramid, the more and more geographically tight it becomes, to where you play in a pub league where there are 3 or 4 pubs in your town and the town next door. And if you are a better quality team and you're playing for a bigger club, you might play, pubs from slightly further afield, and then you might play with 3 or 4 other towns, and that, that's how virtually every sport that has a system that is sustainable works. The further up you go, the bigger you are able to geographically or sustain a bigger geographical footprint. It's the same for every sport, and darts is no different.
And again, Rob, I didn't know this, but right, everyone knows I class anything north of Hurstbourne Tarrant as the north. If you live in the south, you'll know exactly what I mean. But anything north of Hurstbourne Tarrant, Newbury, you're a northerner. However, anyone that thinks Oxford is in the north needs to give their head a fucking good wobble.
Yes, I struggle to accept. Like, my boundary is somewhere around Leeds. Like, I consider anyone south of Leeds to be from the south. Sheffield, I consider a bit like, so I went to Sheffield on Friday, and that was like me coming down your way. I was, why are all these people speaking a bit Cockney? Yeah, it's obscure, and this is it. When you've got to try and make things work and force things in, it's not working, is it? Like that. If anywhere within your system you have Oxford in the north section, your system doesn't work. Like my 6-year-old could explain that to you. He could look at a map and say, "That's not right. That's wrong. But get better.
Yeah.
Do better." And then again, I don't think it's rocket science, but it would take too many people to make too many proactively positive decisions and some self-sacrifice and put the good of the structure and the game and the longevity of the county system before themselves and their own team. And unfortunately, I do not think there is enough people that will align themselves to that mindset to get things done.
Yeah, look, I fully understand that regionalisation is still going to be shit for teams like Cornwall, the Isle of Wight. You can't do anything about it, but at least north and south.
You can play other teams in the south.
I say at least you've got a fighting chance where, as it is at the moment, you could have Tyne and Weir going to Cornwall for 5 legs. Now, come on, man.
It's absurd that, and again, anyone can see that that's absurd.
But again, in terms of if you have one team, as Mace has said, their sponsors will come in, tickets get sold. If you have one team, one day, you've got more chance of getting bums on seats to watch it. You can also set up a decent streaming system for not a lot of money, right? And then that county can then stream their games as well, which then in turn could bring in revenue and so on. And then if it's also streamed, more people have eyes on it. People will watch it and so on. Like we said about the ADC this weekend, did I watch all of it? No, but I dipped into the stream and there were clips and so on. I was like, oh, right, I know that's gone on. It's just...
Well, that's why, and this is exactly why that idea of that pyramid of talent where the further down the pyramid you are, the tighter geographically you need to be. Because when you are better and you are performing in that higher league and you are attracting people watching your stream and some sponsors, oddly enough, you can then afford to get a minibus and you can afford to stay in a hotel and like those. But when you can't win a game and nobody wants to sponsor you, you have to play the people close by because you need to just drive your own cars there and put petrol in and buy a pint when you get there. And like again, I feel like I feel like we're doing 2 + 2 = 4 here. Like this is just surely the bleeding obvious.
Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? And it's hard to see. Like I remember as a kid, like going to watch Hampshire. I was lucky to represent Hampshire and so on. It can still happen, but just not in its current form. And people have to realise things move on, and things need to evolve. And look, the ADC are thriving. Now, people say, why do they want county? I don't know, but they do. They want to be involved in it. Get them involved. Get some young, fresh ideas involved. And I agree with what Rob says there. In 2026, there is no excuse why a county game isn't on a YouTube channel. Is the thing. Why why every county hasn't got their own YouTube channel, because it's a revenue source and a much needed revenue source for them as well. Is the thing. It'll be interesting to see how that goes and how that develops. But I'm interested to see what happens with especially that Division 3, because as it stands, I know this because someone's in the WhatsApp chat. If the fixtures were to go ahead now in Division 3, Notts wouldn't play their first fixture until December, because they should have had Cleveland at home, then they've got the bye, then they were meant to play Gwynedd, so they wouldn't actually play until December.
I mean, which again, it's, if you can't look at that and think, this is broken, we need to do something about it, and we need to do something quickly about it, or we're doomed. The writing is very much on the wall, isn't it?
Correct. It very much is
that way to me
on
from the outside.
Also, shout out to.
I've never ascended to the level of a county dart player, Philip. I once drew a match with a lad who played for a county B team. It's about as good as he got for me.
Also, massive congratulations to friend of the show, Matthew Edgar. More valuable ranking points. He's going to make Lakeside. I know he was annoyed that he missed 2 darts at double 16 for the title, but again, more valuable ranking points for prime time as he looks to head back to Lakeside. He's
going to be there again. We're going to get another T-shirt. We're going to get another. It's another run at it, isn't it? And more power to him. Yeah, good on him. He seems to be living the dream at the minute, because he's doing a bit of everything, and the darts, they're not quite where, at his peak. He's not replicating his peak, but he's still chucking very well. He's still a danger, and he said it before. He said it, and I think he's dead right. When he turns up at these events, he is one of the names that other people see on the draw and think, fuck. Nobody wants to play him. Nobody wants to play Matt Edgar at one of those events.
No, 100%. And look, he will be a danger in that draw. Also, how good was it to see Darren Beveridge back playing at the Super Series last week? I only saw the clips on social, but look, again, get that man back on tour, because he is just so good to watch. The throw is silky smooth and the numbers were good. And considering he's not really played since Challenge Tour number 2, he played some fabulous stuff. And again, he lost his card because of first season syndrome, so to speak, where he played unbelievably in year 2, but the damage was done in that first year learning on the tour. Be great to see him back.
Yeah, ice cold. He did. We saw some really, really good stuff from him, but you're right, it was too little too late, wasn't it? That he didn't have enough in the bank and he left himself too much to do. And he had too much to do when he wasn't qualified for anything. Because we've talked loads about the successful tour card holders this year, the Christo Reyes, the Paul Greaves, the Tom Sykes, those that are qualifying for things and have built a very, very steady base to build their second year upon, and he just didn't quite do that. Too much to do, but there is definitely a player in there, a really solid player, and he's still, he's still got time. I don't know how old I'd guess he's early 30s, is he? Something like, somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah,
plenty of time and plenty of time to find some consistency, because we know the scoring's there. We know he has the talent. It's a gorgeous throw. So he just needs to find a bit of consistency. And if he can get a card back, he's got to go at it early, and he could do that.
But again, we're seeing this more and more. Tom Bizzle's name's come up here as well, that good players are taking And look, this isn't a criticism because if you've not done it before, you don't know what to expect. That first year when they're on tour for the first time is costing them. And by the time they've adapted in year 2 and they're playing some amazing stuff, the damage is already done. And again, it's just that how do you bridge that gap when you haven't done it before? Because it is tough.
And it's tough when others around you have been picking that money up as well, because people have banked, they've come through Euro Tour qualifiers, and they've even just, few lots of first round losers money on that Euro Tour is so important when it comes to keeping a card and building a base, and they're going to get themselves to Minehead for the Players' Championships, and they're going to get themselves to the World Championships. And if you can do that in year 1, you just build such a solid base, and it's so difficult if you start slow, so hard.
100%. And I spoke about this into Matt when I did the sit down with him. The fact that we're talking about Scott Williams on £108,000 might not keep your card. This is mental. How high this bar has now got. I remember when 40 grand used to keep your card.
Yeah, I can't see it being less than. I mean, somebody somewhere will run some clever maths and put something through an AI model somewhere. I just can't see a scenario where you need less than 130.
Well, yeah, at the moment, Scott Williams is on 108 and doesn't have any TV events. Like if he can, he's playing well, he's playing better, Scott. So if he can get himself to the Worlds, 15 grand would see him shoot up. But it could be to the point where Cam Crabtree on 115 grand is trapdoor material.
Oh yeah,
is the thing. It's mental where we're in this place now, and I look at there's a few names that are above Ian White at the moment. If you took 15 grand off of Ian White, he would be in trouble. Brendan Dolan, Mickey Mansell should be okay this year, but certainly next year it's going to look severely tough for them. Barney, Mensel Sulovic, and so on. Alan Suter, King Barry, all had huge years in front of them. And then when you look at players outside, Mike Kivenhoven, Rob Owen, Dimitri Van den Berg, Martin Lukeman, Ryan Meikle, Wesley Plaisir has won on the Pro Tour. Tom Bizzle has had an unbelievable year too. Daryl Pilgrim, Nick Kenny, Adam Lipscomb, Thibaut Tricol. Tricol got to a Lakeside final and he's in trouble, and so on. That gap is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
There is going to be, Phil, probably more so than definitely the last few years, some as a collection, big recognisable names that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you would never have had them pegged as losing their tour card within 3 or 4 years.
Well,
there's a big list of those names there that you would never have thought, especially when they got their tour cards. You would never have thought that either on a 2-year cycle or 3 years ago that list. Yes, there's one or two that you think, yeah, Christ, how did he end up with a card? But there's a big list of them that I thought, nah, they're going to be safe as houses for years. They'll just be on the tour for the next 10 years, and then nope. People that have been big thing. I tell you what, the one of them that surprises me is Big Wes.
Yeah,
he's threatened so many times. We've seen him go on runs all sorts of places and pick money up all over the place, but he just goes missing, I suppose, in between runs. But the talent that he's got and the performances we've seen him put in, the fact that he's that far off holding on to his tour card, it just staggers me. Well, again, there's a big list. Daryl Pilgrim, I thought wouldn't be that risk. I mean, the highlights, the big names outside. Martin Lukeman, obviously, we know he's had his struggles. Dimitri Van den Berg losing his tour card. Imagine trying to pick that 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, you think 2.5 years ago you won the UK Open?
Well, yeah, I'll never forget. I was in that room. I nearly gave up on darts after that day, mate. That was nearly my last everything. That last live round. I'm not back. Sorry, I hate darts now.
I thought Luke Humphries was going to push him off the stage.
Oh.
But not just that. You look at new tour card holders as well in year one. Bo Greaves already has 92,000. Tom Sykes, 70,000. Charlie Manby, 61, and so on. There are players that are making moves as well. And they all can't win their tour card back as well. That 64 are going to lose them. But the realistic is there's probably only going to be between 28 and 32 tour cards available.
But then you look here, and we know there's talent in there. Like, we know they're good players. We know they've got a game. And you see, well, where are these players going to go? There's going to be, again, a huge amount of talent playing not on the tour again, isn't there? Because there is some serious players amongst them. They're just not quite putting their game together. We've seen great things from a great many of them.
Again, I'm led to believe there will be changes to the Challenge Tour next year, which will be interesting to see how they go down and work, so to speak. I know a couple of bits that I've been told are in the pipeline, which could be interesting. But this ecosystem of darts is just getting massive, is the thing. And like we touched earlier, that it's not amateur anymore. Those semi-pros that don't have a card are as good, and so on. Darren Beveridge, prime example, last week and so on. That this ecosystem is just getting bigger and bigger. Is the thing.
Well, especially now we're seeing the amount of non-tour card holders that are playing regularly on the tour. And playing to a point where they're starting to qualify for TV events because they're playing on the tour so much. That ecosystem is expanding because to some of these, not having a tour card isn't a barrier. You can still qualify for the World Championships. You can still qualify for the Players' Championship final. You can still go to Minehead. You can still do all these things, whether you've got a card or not.
I'm just looking. So at the moment, Henry Coates is in a World Championship spot, doesn't have a tour card. Yeah. Joe Hunt in a World Championship spot, doesn't have a tour card, and Derek Coulson can't be far behind. Is the thing. So
if Derek gets to Alexandra Palace, anybody that has a ticket that day, contact me and name your price. Because if he gets there, I'm gonna go and watch. I will definitely go and support Derek because I think what an achievement that would be. He's played some unbelievable darts.
Yeah, Tommy Morris just outside. But again, I know we've said this before and we sound like a broken record, but you've got the Challenge Tour, which is as strong as it's ever been right now. The standard is incredible. You've got a year's worth of data. You've got a year's worth of ranking. Use it better.
Yes.
Because only the top two getting tour cards is a joke.
No, it doesn't make sense to, it simply doesn't achieve the best standard of players on your tour. It just doesn't. It can't, can it? It can't. Like you say, you've got so much data. You've got so much evidence of how people perform in these environments.
Correct.
To not use it seems an own goal. It just seems like you're running a risk of having a worse standard on your tour. Just have it. Just have a good standard of player getting on it. Look at them. Look at the data. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, 100%. It's look, but to be fair, I'm glad the PDC are listening to the players as well, and they are going to make changes to the Challenge Tour next year, which is great, and so on, and making this ecosystem bigger and better, and not just the Challenge Tour, but you've obviously got we've touched about this pyramid in place where you've got the Pro Tour, then underneath the Challenge Tour, then you've got the Dev Tour, the Women's Series, the CDC, the Asian Tour, and so on. That this system It just needs a few little tweaks, and it could be exceptional.
Without a doubt. Yeah, there's not a huge amount, is there? But it's the potential's there. It certainly has the shoots.
Yeah, 100%. Just little bits here and there, which will be good. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. It won't be too long till the calendar's out as well.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. We're quite looking forward to. Well, it's a big year for me next year, isn't it? I've got lots to try, and I've got lots to fit in, and the darts calendar. I need to get everything aligned. It's going to be a busy old year.
I've heard that their first draft has been seen by a few people to run their eyes over it and see if they can see any clashes and whatever. So fingers crossed it won't be too long till that makes its way into the Open.
Good.
Because then we can see where the new major lands, what tweaks are going to be made here and there, and so on to like the European Tour events and where they're going to go and so on.
Yeah, I think it's
normally early September, Rob.
Yeah, normally after the summer holidays and after the kids are back to school.
Yeah,
normally because it's a good time. It always comes at a convenient time for me work-wise to start planning my year out and booking my annual leave resets in September. So it's always quite good for me to then start slotting in trips to Minehead and Blackpool and everything else for the year.
100%. It's Are you coming in November yet? Have you cleared that one with Mrs. S?
Yes. I bought a new car especially, so I don't have to fucking charge up on the way. Yes, I'll be down in November, mate. Yeah, I'll be there for the
Curry Club.
I'll be there for Curry Club. I won't be fanning around charging either. I'm gonna pummel all the way down in one. I haven't booked any digs yet, but I sometimes do that on the morning I travel. I'm not that I like to live by the seat of my pants, but I'll be there.
Love that. We will be going for a curry, Mace. Don't worry. We were talking about that the other day. What's one of the highlights of Minehead now is Curry Club.
Without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, it's an important part of the weekend. It's as important as the darts. So yeah, I'll be down there, and then I'm booked back into the UK Open as well. So I'll be there. One wingman in you, doing some actual proper work, and I'll be there back again in March as a punter. A mess, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine, Paul, the youth calendar's a bit of a mess trying to work them all out. Be an interesting one. So yeah, that's that. Look, we've seen a lot of the stars are all heading. We've seen them in airport lounges today and being dropped off at airports for that mammoth commute to New Zealand. First of all,
some with and without their bags,
luggage.
Some with and without their darts.
I love it how Hian is already in New Zealand, but his luggage is still in France. That's quite impressive.
I mean, it's very impressive, yeah. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever had one like that?
Once, and I flew from Stansted, and Russ Bray and I were on the same flight, and our cases didn't make it.
Were they just left in Stansted though?
Yeah.
So the most outrageous one I ever had, Anna and I flew a few years ago to Naples. And we stayed in Pompeii and then drove down the coast. But we flew to Naples and our bags were loaded onto a plane to Madrid.
Oh yeah, no. Lucky enough, I've never had them. I've never had them go to the wrong place. I've just had them not go. Oi, oi! The Littlers are in from Orlando.
Back from SeaWorld. What a life! He's roughing it again.
To be fair, I've really enjoyed the pictures that Luke's put up on his social and so on. Looks like they're having an unbelievable time in Orlando.
Yeah,
to be fair, Michael, that's a good question. Who's winning the next two World Series events? these are the most two World Series events that are completely up for grabs because Luke and Luke aren't there.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
someone
I mean, there is
make a name for yourself.
Yeah, there is actually an opportunity here. Who do I think is going to win? New Zealand first, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I will pick a PDC representative.
Oh, will you?
I'm not going to pick a local qualifier. I'll tell you who's going to win it, right? You know who I'm going to pick.
Christophe's not playing.
James Wade is going to win. Don't invite him to enough things, and then he'll turn up and win it. Because again, he'll turn up and win it because he does James Wade things, doesn't he? And don't piss him off. He'll turn up and win. But yeah, James Wade, I think. If you want me to pick a final without seeing a draw or a draw, bracket, then seedings. We haven't seen a draw, but we've got seedings, so I can't have that as a final. I can't have Price and Wade, which means the final will have to be James Wade against Johnny Clayton.
Would you say I was going rogue if I said I can see a non-seed winning one of these events?
Oh, now, hey, yeah, winning, that's rogue. Like, winning it, yeah. I because sooner or later, they've got to, turn over a real big name and do a really big upset. I can't.
Right, I'm just throwing it out there.
Madness,
I'm just looking at the numbers from New Zealand last year. Right? Take out Luke and Luke because they're not there.
Yes.
The numbers that I'm seeing from the seeds are beatable. 92, 88.
Stephen Bunting averaged 101 in the final. In the first round. Josh Rock averaged 108 in the first round. Hetter 109. Oh, I don't know.
You're looking at Australia. I'm looking at New Zealand.
Oh, I'm in Australia. Sorry, mate.
I'm looking at New Zealand.
I'd moved on after that. No, I'm not letting you have it. I mean, it is madness. I genuinely think 2 or 3 of them, honestly, in New Zealand, 2 or 3 of them could pick up a first round win, but why are these players, and this is going to sound harsher than it is, right? But the reason that these players are playing where they are, in the systems that they are, at the level they are playing, is not because they can't produce a great game and average 101. It's because they can't do it 3 and 4 games in a row. And that the problem is consistency. Do I think that Raymond Smith can beat Damon Hetter in round 1? Yes, I do. Do I think that Huw Ware could beat Stephen Bunting? Yep, he could. Do I think that any of those players can win 2 games, 3 games on the spin against, opposition of that level? Because you might be able to squeak past Damon Hetter, but then you're going to bump into Johnny Clayton, who's just on the back of a win, and it's too hard. So, by all means, but I'm not having it.
I'm going rogue.
Go on! I mean, I love it. I love the chaos. I'm here
Raymond Smith wins in New Zealand
Brilliant. I mean, again, please don't think for a moment that I would not be absolutely over the moon to see that. Like, you know that I want the maddest things to happen in that. So yeah, please, that would be amazing. But I can't sign off on it as something that's feasible. Like, it's not realistic. It's like, but let's see. I tell you what, Phil. Right, if he's in the final, then our watch along's going to do some serious numbers, isn't it? Like, if Raymond Smith's in the final, like, we're gonna be here watching it with everybody, and I think people will be keen to see if somebody can lift the trophy from the low.
Yeah, I'm going for the Guru. I think he can cause an upset. Look, the draw has to be kind as well, yeah. But I think the Guru could do it. Dan's not having it at all.
I'm not, again, it's like, I can let you get away with so much, but there's a point at which I have to just sort of draw a line and say you're being silly. It's not. Yeah, Wade in Australia, sorry, in New Zealand, James Wade will beat Johnny Clayton in the final. And in Australia, why haven't we got seeds for that? The seeding's going to be the same. They are. So
the seeds for New Zealand: Van Veen 1, Price 2, Bunting 3, Wade 4, Clayton 5, Rock 6, Ross Smith 7, Heta 8.
Yeah, but they're not going to change for Australia, are they?
Don't think so. No.
Seedings are going to be the same. That's the problem. Which means the problem is I wanted a Wade Price final. Like, in terms of what I thought was going to happen. But the way the seedings are going to work, we're not going to get it because we're going to get it in the semi-finals. So I'll give one to Wade and I'll give one to Gezi. Gezi will win in Australia. He'll win the second one.
I'm going. Raymond Smith at least makes the final in New Zealand.
Oh, fuck it. And who are we going here? Is it going to be the Magnet? Is that where you're going here?
No, Brody will make the final in Australia. Oh, I'm going completely rogue.
Yes, well done, Philip. It's a good effort. I hope you're right, mate. I hope. Do you know what? If you're right, there'll be nobody I'll be first in the queue to high-five you. And you know me, I'm the first one to put my hands up when I make a clown of myself. And I would love to be able to sit here next week and put my hands up and say I made a complete I should never have doubted you, Philip. I should never have doubted you. I should have believed like you did. But I fear I might be safe. I think I might be all right.
Everyone, thank you so much. I really enjoyed tonight's show. Massive shout out to our guest, Huw Ware. Great guest to have on the show. Really, really enjoyed having him on. If you haven't yet, make sure you drop us a like and subscribe. As always, I put a little bit of a video out on social today asking you what kind of content you want to see more from us. We're looking at some new bits and some new content coming your way. So make sure you drop us a follow for that. You guys have been absolutely superb. This will be available once I've edited out the echo as an audio only in the morning. So make sure from all good podcast providers. But until then, I've been Phil Bars, Dan Simpson. We have been on Nine Darts. We'll see you all very, very soon.